Former NFL quarterback turned Fox Sports analyst Mark Sanchez is recovering after he was stabbed on Saturday in Indianapolis. The Indianapolis Police Department then announced that the 38-year-old was arrested at the hospital, originally with 3 misdemeanors for his role in an altercation. But the prosecutor said at a press conference Monday morning that a level 5 felony charge was added for battery involving serious bodily injury.
At this point in time, we have filed a felony charge, a level 5 felony of battery involving serious bodily injury, which contains a penalty of 1 to 6 years.
Sanchez allegedly approached a 69-year-old man in a loading dock area of a hotel and escalated a dispute regarding the man's parked vehicle. Sanchez was in Indianapolis as he was scheduled to call the Colts-Raiders game, which was Sunday.
It is a way that you go beat the out of a 69-year-old man, and it's because you don't know what the you're doing. When you calling these games, you travel on a Thursday, go to practice on a Friday, and then we don't got to do Saturday for real. So me and my dog Gus, we used to sit at the bar and get loaded. I've been there before. We had a DB night for the Bucks and got on the bus perfectly fine, and boom, I woke up in jail. Like, dang. What I do? You feel me? So I have no idea. It happens, bro.
What did you do?
I socked a cab driver.
You socked a cab driver?
How old was the cab driver? We need to know.
I don't know how old he was, but he was driving when I socked him. I was on the phone. I was being loud, and he kept telling me, hey, shut up. Hey, bring it down. I told him, hey, try this fucking cab before I sock out you.
Okay.
I got on the phone. I still was loud, belligerently drunk.
Yeah.
He told me to be quiet again. I took off on him. I was sitting behind him. 2 of my teammates was in the cab with me. So that's how I know the story.
Did they grab you or you don't remember?
Well, they ain't grabbed me before I socked him.
Yeah.
And then he pulled to the side and he called the police.
Okay.
I woke up in jail.
What was the end of that?
He ended up suing me. He asked for season tickets.
No way.
I gave him about $100,000 and some season tickets.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
I still don't know one piece to the puzzle here, and that's what provoked Mark to start with. I've been around him a little bit, enough to know he has a clean track record, and it seems like, by all accounts of people who know him well, that he's a good guy. And he did a really bad thing because he initiated this by all accounts. I don't know if some words were spoken. It doesn't make any sense to me, but we don't know the deep down details of what provoked him to go after the 69-year-old man and attempt to inflict bodily harm on him.
63-year-old man trying to make an honest living. I mean, as he's telling the story, he's delivering DoorDash.
Yeah.
He's parked in an area. This is what he said. So all we can go about is what's being reported. Is that Sanchez told him he couldn't park there.
Right.
And then I guess at some point Sanchez tried to get into the gentleman's car.
Oh, think about it too. DoorDash. Let's say he did park in the spot. All they doing.
You not the police.
Even that. All you doing is dropping food off. You gonna be there what?
Yes.
3 minutes if that. 2-3 minutes. Go ahead, do what you got to do. That ain't none of my business.
I don't care. He could have parked there overnight. Man, DoorDash, man, that man been I don't care. Not my parking spot. Could have lost his life. He's very fortunate. He probably got stabbed maybe in the chest, the abdomen. Did they say where he got stabbed?
If he had to go to surgery, it had to be somewhere where it could have
the abdomen or the chest or something.
Yeah.
Yes. He's fortunate to be alive. I hate this for him and his family. You know, and Fox reached out and said they're doing their due diligence, but as for privacy for him and his family.
We know way too much now about the Mark Sanchez fiasco, where, in case you have no idea what's going on, the police are saying he was the aggressor because they have surveillance footage showing him publicly intoxicated, giving a delivery driver crap, that delivery driver feeling like they are being threatened, macing him, Sanchez moving the pepper spray, wiping it away from his face, going at the guy again. This is all over a parking spot, and the guy felt like he was truly in danger, and he shanked Mark Sanchez. But that didn't stop Outkick's Dan Dockich from tweeting, Sanchez or anyone being stabbed downtown Indy should not be a surprise. We have a ton of fatherless and armed African-American kids descending on downtown Indy every weekend. If that offends you, F off, as the Chief of Police Bailey and Rev Harrison have told you this. Mark Sanchez was the aggressor, according to the reportings. But that could not stop Dan Dakich, by default, going after black folks. Because that's his cup of tea. Amazingly, Dan Dakich was a good basketball player at Indiana University, my alma mater. He took over for Kelvin Sampson when Sampson had to go bye-bye for recruiting violations. He sucked as a coach, went into broadcasting, and he has been reprimanded so many times because he is a staunch racist. And just a terrible human being. We've gone over his track record. He mocked a young Iowa State fan who was an amputee that had just passed away in an attempt to troll. That's Dan Dakich. He belittled a college professor because of her stance on college athlete compensation. Then he suggested, oh, well, you only want to get with me. You only want to sleep with me. That's Dan Dakich. According to Greg Doyle, Dakich hosts a show on a right-wing radio station that specializes in conspiracy theories, half-truths, outright lies, and hate. I have seen some of it and heard some of it. It's accurate. A direct quote, man, it's amazing to me what idiots live in Scottsburg, Indiana. You townies down there, you're all full of meth and AIDS and needles and we should just annex them and get rid of them. That was published by the Indy Star March 20th, 2020. He would claim that winning an ESPY is just being a victim. He called Jalen Rose and Joyanne Reed racist. He said, Kansas City Chiefs white folks who sport Indian headdresses are just honoring them. That one's funny because it's so stupid. He ripped an Indiana University basketball player because that dude had tattoos. And Dakich would say, Khalil Ware got himself thousands of dollars of new tats. How about getting in the effing gym or film room and learn how to play instead of being in a tattoo chair? Effing IU basketball sucks. Prior to NIL, he said college athletes couldn't be broke because they can afford tattoos. He argued a free education is sufficient compensation enough, while the NCAA and schools rake in billions of dollars off of the labor of athletes, and he questioned Colin Kaepernick's intellect. Dan Dakich, full-on racist.
A quick update on the violent incident that led to former NFL quarterback Mark Sanchez getting stabbed and arrested.
Yeah, Sanchez is now going to face at least one felony charge for his role in a drunken fight with a 69-year-old truck driver in Indianapolis. Now, during a press conference that happened this morning, prosecutors say that after seeing the extent of the victim's injuries, Sanchez's charges were upgraded from several misdemeanors to a level 5 felony battery charge.
Stabbing occurred around midnight on Sunday outside of Sanchez's hotel. Sanchez approached a delivery truck driver, started talking to him and then yelling at him. Apparently he was upset that this box truck had been parked in an alley. And surveillance video shows Sanchez running after this 69-year-old driver and throwing the man against a wall, then onto the ground. The driver told police he thought Sanchez was going to kill him, so he pulled a knife out and stabbed Sanchez multiple times. Both men were hospitalized and released.
Well, we'll continue to keep you updated on all of the developments that come out of this case.
Mark Sanchez had been stabbed and arrested, which is a really unfortunate combination of things to be. It's a delivery driver. He's 69 years old, and he picks up used cooking oil from places. So he had gone to pick up the used cooking oil from the Marriott in Indianapolis. And Mark Sanchez ran up on him for reasons that we don't know. And the way that man talked about Mark Sanchez coming out of him, it sounded like the police report from an officer-involved shooting. He was like, hey, man, I don't know what was going on with him and the way that he was looking at me, but I realized that it was a life or death situation with Mark Sanchez. So at some point, he sprays Mark Sanchez in the eyes with pepper spray. And then Mark Sanchez wiped it off and kept charging that Buddy. He gets Buddy on the ground. He starts roughing him up. And then my man said he had to stab Mark Sanchez a couple times while he was on the ground. And then he had to stab him again after he got him off him. There are pictures that you can find of this 69-year-old man. And all I can say is I find it highly unlikely that Mark Sanchez will still be charged with misdemeanors when this was over. If what you've done has made people wonder if you were smoking dust, you ain't coming back from that, brother.
Imagine getting stabbed, you in the hospital, and then when you wake up from your little nap or your overnight sleep, your ass is handcuffed to the hospital bed because you were the aggressor and this nigga stabbed you in self-defense. I'm not gonna lie, this is one of my biggest fears ever, and this is why I don't get drunk. Because why are you attacking people? Please believe, if you attack me, I'ma cut you. You hear me? I tell people that shit all the time. I walk into the club with it on me. Don't ask me how I get it in there. You hear me? But no, it's on me. Cause I be outside dolo, I'm light-skinned, people always be wanting to try me. I'm not finna engage in fisticuffs with you. You finna be leaking out this motherfucker. And I'ma call the police. I say that shit to people all the time. I'ma cut you and then call the law. And then they back up cause they realize a motherfucker who pull out a knife is really crazy. But Mark Sanchez, former NFL quarterback, NFL analyst, what in the fuck is you doing out here attacking people? You know you did wrong when you got stabbed and the police was like, yeah, that's what you get, nigga.